Man, us men that lust, that see women, and we don't just lust, but we just see sensual, the sensuality of women, like how gorgeous they are, and it's just like an enchanting feeling when you see a beautiful woman like walking in a dress, and it's just like elevating, and uh, it's something that it's difficult to explain. Um, and I've been in a relationship with my girlfriend for almost, 7 years going steady at this point. Really, we met 10 years ago. So it's pretty crazy. And somehow our relationship has stayed together intact. It's been difficult, but we've made it happen. We're not married yet. And I tell her, like, sometimes, and I'm really open with her, like, sometimes I struggle with lust. Like I struggle with, like I see other women and I'm like, man, I want that. Um, and I've been really struggling with it lately this week. Um, and it's a certain like force. It's a certain like thing that kind of holds you over. I was like, there must be something here because there's a lot of energy that builds up with lust. Lustful energy is actually really powerful. And so I started looking into the Bible and like different things, and uh, you know, going to God about this. And what I'm coming to find is that like God actually chooses lustful men for a lot of his missions, right? Like I have here, for example, like David, right? David committed adultery with like immediately, right? Like, which is wild. Solomon rise to wisdom and eventually his downfall through the influence of foreign women and idolatry. Um, and then also David's sin with Bathsheba in the aftermath, right? And David's fault wasn't because he was wicked at the core, it was because he got idle, proud, and allowed unchecked desire to grow. And I think that's what it is. Lust is such a powerful force for us men, and we have to make sure that we keep our gaze directed to God because it can be our downfall. We think that if we just allow ourselves to go and meet our immediate desires, then that flame immediately just dies. For example, I remember I would have experiences uh, with with girls that, and I feel really sorry for this, and I'm ashamed for this still. And I would basically just have like a relation with them, like a one night kind of thing, and I felt so empty inside. And when I immediately that it was like this lustful energy up to the peak of it, right? And then when it's over, it's gone, and you feel empty inside, and you don't feel any love or affection for that person, and you feel like you gave away some of your life force, and you feel empty inside. Like I just shared something that I thought was gonna be this like powerful kind of thing, but it ended up being this selfish act that I just kind of released on you, and maybe you did for me, and there was no exchange of love really there. It was just lust, and there's no new energy that carries you through the rest of the day. Really, you feel kind of guilty and ashamed after that. It may be similar as to craving food, right? Like craving, like, oh man, I'm craving this burger, but you know you're not supposed to eat it yet, right? You're supposed to wait until like Friday night, but really it's Tuesday night, and you're like, fuck it, I'm gonna go get me a burger right now. And you go and you eat it, and after you eat it, then you're like, oh, that was good, but it could have been way better if I waited for Friday. And now it's Tuesday night, I'm full, and you're full, but you're not you're full, but you're not fully satisfied. And that's like the worst feeling ever. No, nobody, like when you know you should have waited, when you know you could have directed your focus to something more productive, to something better, right? Like, what would God want me to do at this moment, right? That's why our desires, the worldly things, are ever changing. They're always changing. They're fleeting. They're fleeting moments. Like, we try to like hold on to certain pleasures and things that just pass by, but it's impossible. The only thing that's never changing is God, right? So we have to hold our attention to what is fixed. God is fixed. God doesn't change. God is ever loving, and He wants us to fulfill our mission that He has for us. So we have to always remain our our gaze towards Him, because the world has ever fleeting desires and temptations, and we can't keep any of it. And so the only thing that matters here is like how much can I serve? How much can I just hold my gaze and attention towards Him, towards God? And I always go back to the verse, Matthew 6:22, the eye is the lamp of the body. So if your eye is clear, then your body will be full of light. And it's just a matter of like what we hold our attention to is what we feel inside. And these lustful desires is because we hold our attention to woman, beautiful woman, the woman in the red dress, like in the Matrix. Where is your focus? And so the ultimate energy, the ultimate power comes from this lust, this feeling of like, damn, like I feel it, it's like, damn, like she's looking good, man. Like, and you just kind of feel this like this power, right? Or like whenever our imagination kind of just like runs free, and we're like thinking these thoughts, right? Like that energy, man, is so powerful. It's literally our life force as men, and we can direct that towards our mission. It's Satan that wants you to like, man, you can just have it. You can just have it. But if we learn to channel that, it's almost like this unchanneled force is like very, like it's all out here. It's very spacious, right? But it's very powerful still, right? But it's undirected. So therefore, you see a woman, oh my God, there. Or same thing with food. For me personally, that's what I struggle with, right? But if we compress that here, right here towards God, it just becomes this like this hardened, like concrete density. Like, oh man, like I can just channel this towards what God really wants me to do. And it's powerful, man. And sometimes I get glimpses of it. Sometimes I have the willpower to, instead of like think of, even my girl, or, whenever I see like, I don't know, like another girl in like the bikini or something, and I'm like, ooh, have I just redirect that focus, right? Like, no, lower your gaze, like stay focused, like what are you here for? And I'm able to do that in the outside world. When I come back here and I actually do work, like real work, like I feel, because of what I did in the outside world, then that confidence carries back in here where I'm ready to go, man. But if I betray that trust with myself out there and with God, then I come back here and I'm like, I'm not in the same mental state. I'm not as productive. I'm not as mission oriented. So it's like you're always put to the test in every single situation. And so if you succeeded over there, then you're going to succeed here. And I think this isn't just with lust, but it's with like anything, any unchanneled, any untamed desire will be your downfall. Ultimately, worldly desires are distractions. And the only thing that we have control over, truly us as human beings, the only thing that we have control over is where we put our attention to. That is the only thing we have control over. It is our power. It is genuinely the and me just thinking about it right now, like the things that you hold your attention to are how you will feel internally. The eye is the lamp of the body, right? It just goes back to that. It's so powerful. And I think if if you have all these desires that are pulling and tugging you in all which directions and you can't find center, then you really need to like go and just seek some stillness. Just be still. Like find the present moment. You have to find center somehow. It's really difficult nowadays to do that. We have to really, like, it used to not be as difficult, in my opinion. Like, I feel like life only gets more chaotic. I'm in my 30s and I'm dealing with, more social commitments, right? I need to be more intentional about seeing my family, calling my family, getting friends together, right? It doesn't just happen anymore like it used to. People just got together back in my 20s, right? Like, parties would just happen. People become a little bit more, just naturally, people become a little bit more like homebodies, right? And so you have to like be the one that is more intentional, right? Everything takes more intentional. Same with your health, right? Like, things don't stay put together anymore just like they used to. You start getting a little chub here, chub there. Before you know it, a few years pass by, you're like, damn, dude, I used to look good, right? And now you don't. And that's because of the little micro unchanneled desires that, oh, I'm just going to eat that. I'll be fine. I've always been fine, right? But no, everything is ever changing, right? You're never the same you as you were yesterday. And your body is changing. Hormones change, right? Metabolism slows down, you know what I mean? And so we have to work harder to maintain, right? It actually becomes harder to maintain just to stay at a homeostasis level, right? Just to stay at baseline, because the world tends to disorder. It's the law of entropy. Just like an untended garden will just grow weeds and who knows what, right? It'll just start, pests and whatever, right? But if you tend to the garden, right, you pay attention, right, of how you want the garden to look, then it just flourishes, right? You get rid of all the bad, get rid of all the untamed desires, right? Then by nature, you get rid of all that stuff. By nature, naturally, you're going to be guided in the right direction, right? Because you're actually going to know where your true fulfillment comes from. Be still and know that I am God. That is the most powerful thing. Just be still. Find stillness. It's the only way to find God in the present moment, right here, right now. And lust. Every time you feel lust, every time you feel the temptation, right? Anytime it kind of overpowers you, say, man, I have this gift. It's a gift. It really is. Because that can be channeled as life force towards your mission, towards what you need to go and do and accomplish. But you have to set your gaze towards God, because only at that point you will know what you need to do. All right, man. So go crush it. Go crush it this week. Let me know how it goes. It's interesting to talk about lust. It's something that I didn't really realize that I was struggling with. But then I really started thinking about it, like, yeah, man, I do. And I think a lot of us men do. And we may feel ashamed about it. But there's no shame in it. It's an untamed desire. Just like an obese person has an untamed desire for food, right? It's just like a businessman that has an untamed desire for power and money, right? It's all of these things that are so powerful drivers and forces for us to go and create, but also that destroy us. All right, I'll leave you with that, my friend. Let me know what you think of this. Riffing off the cuff here. But anyways, peace and love. And I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.